Before I give my remarks, I want to comment on the events leading to the presentation of the budget. We cannot pretend that it all happened. Something happened. We had met here to discuss several
the back and forth, all the drama we saw.
We'll have to go there before we take a look.
With the majority taking the U-turn?
I want to say that, first of all, I am disappointed with the minority group.
Why?
In Parliament. I am disappointed with the majority group, in Parliament. Both of them. They have failed, and they don't seem to appreciate the mandate that was given to them by Ghanaians in the 2020 parliamentary elections that effectively established a hung parliament, that made it imperative on them to function effectively to serve as a countervailing authority to the powers of the executive. Now, we have a minority group that came out openly to say, when Ken Ofori-Atta was selected or nominated to be the Minister of Finance, they came out openly to tell us that he is not fit for purpose, and so many things surrounding him makes them believe that he is not somebody that they would vet and approve to become a Minister of Finance. They said it openly. And yet, when they had the opportunity to vote, apart from one or two of this minority groups who were on the appointments committee vetting him, the rest of them voted in full support of the very person that they said they were not going to support. So they voted to support him to become a minister. Now, fast forward. Recently, this same minority group told us that they have a lot of charges against him, and for that reason, they were tabling a censure motion against him. They had the opportunity to interact with this man, through the ad hoc committee that was set up to quiz him, and I was expecting that they would be able to nail him by the kinds of revelations and questions that they will pose to him. But if you look at their comportment and attitude during the interactive session, it told me that they probably didn't even have their pedal or their firm grasp, on the issues. Because some of the questions that they posed, you were expecting that they would ask more proactive follow-up questions to be able to nail the man. And then also, we know the people in the minority group who talks finance and they talk about the economy. Kweku is here, I didn't find him there.
You were expecting Kweku
I'm saying in Ghana, we know those who speak economy in the minority group. Why didn't you assemble them? So they gave the opportunity for the man to appeal more to public sympathy and to find a way to wiggle himself in a manner that now creates an impression. If you want to push or follow it up and carry on understanding, it creates an impression as if, look, the man has extricated himself. Why are you worrying him? That is my disappointment with the minority group. Now the majority group also tells us that, look, our constituents are telling us that things are hard, times are hard, and that one of the interventions to appease our constituents is to be sure that the Minister of Finance is kicked away. They mount a platform, they hold a press conference, and they articulate their concerns, they make their calls that they would not do business with the Minister of Finance should the president refuse to kick him out. Mm-hmm. Now, don't forget that they said their demand was emanated from the concerns that had been expressed by their constituents.
Indeed.
And in parliamentary representation, the one who calls the shot, or the one who is expected to call the shot, when it comes to decision making of members of parliament is supposed to be constituent.
Indeed.
The constituents.
Indeed.
It is not the political parties that dictate. You see, multi-party politics, you see, the concept of representation predates partisan politics. Before partisan political parties were birthed, representation existed. And the foremost function or role of every member of parliament is representation. And representation here simply is explained in terms of acting in a manner responsive to constituent interests. And so if your constituents come to tell you that we don't like this, go champion this cause, you are supposed to stick to it. You have this minority group. I thought they were men.
The majority group.
Sorry, majority group. I thought they were men. I thought they were brave. I thought for the first time they did something unprecedented to help Parliament to assert its role as a countervailing authority to the powers of the executive. But there too, one day we were there, we were told that the party had issued a statement calling on them not to go the route they want to go. And when I heard this, I thought that this majority group was going to stick to their grounds. They were going to continue to champion the interests and concerns of their constituents by sticking to their grounds and ensuring that they live by whatever they say they want to do. Then we heard some of them chickening out and saying that the party has spoken. Who is the party? When you compare, within the democratic practice, who controls or who is expected to control members of parliament? The party or the constituents? I'm saying that, see, what they did betrays their fundamental lack of understanding of the concept of representation within democratic practice. Okay, so at the end of the day, the minority group disappointed us, the majority group disappointed us. So we had Ken Ofori-Atta walking to Parliament to present the budget. The man that both sides said they didn't want and they were going to be sure that he doesn't present the budget, did it. And when he did it, they sat down and listened to him, and the way a manner they comported themselves. You see the hypocrisy, as if nothing had happened, as if they were not the ones who said they didn't want him, as if everything was right with the man. And so if everything is right with the man, why did you come out to oppose him in the first place?
Well,
okay, so I'm saying that we cannot talk about Ken Ofori-Atta's presentation of the budget without first looking at the precursors to the presentation of the budget. And I want to register my disappointment in both the minority group of parliament and the majority group of parliament to tell them that they appear not to understand the mandate that the people of Ghana gave to them. And if that is that becomes the case and they don't change, then we'll call on Ghanaians that they should rethink the kind of mandate that they've given to these people. Otherwise, they would continue to. It appears that our hopes in the hung parliament is beginning to dwindle, because the hung parliament is now appearing to act more as a rubber stamp, more of a rubber stamp, even than the previous parliament that had, clear majority and then clear minority.
Well, you see, the report of this 8-member ad hoc committee has actually been laid before the House. So we would get to know the details of it, whether it complements these concerns you have raised. That's number one. The majority says that they have only agreed to the finance minister presenting the budget. They have postponed the expectations.
What sort of confusion is this?
To the previous position
what sort of
by
confusion
December,
is this?
they said they expect the president to take a certain decision.
Didn't you hear before this? Didn't you hear they coming out to say that they are sticking to their original position?
Indeed.
I mean, today you want to do this, tomorrow you said I'm postponing, tomorrow, the next day you said, what sort of a confused majority group is this?